Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Darati Svaparantikam वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवारि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, let's see. Okay, we continue from text number 5. कृष्णेति यस्य गिरितं मनसा द्रियेत दीक्षस्ति चेत् प्रणातिभिश्च भजन्तमीशं शुश्रूषया भाजनविघ्नम् अनन्यमन्या निन्दादिशून्या हृदमिपि ईप्सिता सङ्गलभ्या. This guy is crazy. We need to get him out of the Vaishnav Sangha before he poisons everyone with his Mayavadi videos. Straight when we started the reading and didn't entertain his nonsense, he left. So he doesn't have any interest actually. So use the spell. Word to word. Krishna, the holy name of Lord Krishna, iti, thus, yasya, of whom, giri, in the words or speech, tam, him, manasa, by the mind, adriyeta, one must honor, diksha, initiation, asti, there is, chet, if, pranatibi, by obeisances, cha also, bhajantam, engage in devotional service, isham, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shushrooshaya, by practical service, Vajana Vignam, one who is advanced in devotional service, Ananyam, without deviation, Anyanindadi, of blasphemy of others, Shunya, completely devoid, Ridam, whose heart, Ipsita, desirable, Sangha, association, Labhya, by gaining. Translation: one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation Diksha and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others.
Prabhu, so sorry to interrupt once again. So, Prabhu, this is the ISKM teachers link, right?
Which one?
This one, the one we're using.
Yes, Prabhu. Now we are.
ISKM.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, the one we're using is the ISKM teachers link, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, and this is used by the Matajis, the kids, and us. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right, noted. So tomorrow there's no class for the Matajis and the kids.
Okay,
So
Haribo.
that's good. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Are you sure, right? It's ISKM teachers, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Just
Karti
want to confirm
Prabhu,
that from you.
Karti
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu.
is the Ishtavarti for tomorrow?
No, Prabhu. Tomorrow is cancelled because of Narsimha Chaturdasi. We'll have next week instead.
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Please come India
Thank
soon.
you,
Yeah, I
Prabhu.
hope you're planning to come to India soon. Haribo.
Very
Thank you.
good,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Purport. In order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way, according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with three types of devotees: the Kanishtadikari, Madhyamadikari, and Uttamadikari. The Kanishtadikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. A Madhyamadikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Madhyamadikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttamadikari or highest devotee is one who is very advanced in devotional service. An Uttamadikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean and he has attained the realized state of unallied Krishna consciousness. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such a Mahabhagavat or perfect Vaishnava are most desirable. One should not remain a Kanishtadikari, one who is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Archayam eva haryaye pujamya shraddaye hate natad bhakte suchanyesu sabhakta prakrita smrita. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general, is called a Prakrita Bhakta or Kanishtadikari. One therefore has to raise himself from the position of Kanishtadikari to the platform of Madhyamadikari. The Madhyamadikari is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam in this way: Ishvaretat adine su balisheshu dvishatscha prema maitri kropeksha yah karoti samadhyama. The Madhyamadikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature. This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat the various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sahajiyas generally chant the Hare Krishna mantra, yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from the pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. In this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, or color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasad, and hear about Krishna. When we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances should be offered to him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttamadikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. The process by which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 4:192. Dikshakale bhaktakare atma samarpana seikale Krishna tare kare atma sama. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as himself. Diksha, or spiritual initiation, is explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha 868 by Shila Jiva Goswami. Divyam jnanam tato datyat kuryat papasya sankshayam tasmad diksheti sa prokta deshikaistatva kovidai. By Diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in spiritual life. We have seen many practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Many students who come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, Lord Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living conditions as long as they can live in the temple and associate with the Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. For the advancement of spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.13 describes Tapasa brahmacharyena shamena cha damena cha. When a person is serious about accepting Diksha, he must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, divyam jnanam, he is fit for being initiated. Divyam jnanam is technically called Tadvijnana, or knowledge about the Supreme. Tadvignartam sagurumeva bhikached. Mudaka Upanishad 1.2.12. When one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the Absolute Truth, he should be initiated. Such a person should approach a spiritual master in order to take Diksha. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21 also prescribes Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jignasu Shreya Uttamam. When one is actually interested in transcendental science of the Absolute Truth, he should approach a spiritual master. One should not accept the spiritual master without following his instructions. Nor should one accept the spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. One must be jignasu, very much inquisitive to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. The inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental science. Jignasu sreya uttamam. The word uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means the darkness of this material world, and ut means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about mundane subject matters, but when one has lost interest and is simply interested in transcendental subject matters, he is quite fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master, and when he seriously engages in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as a Madhyamadhikari. The chanting of the holy names of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by the neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2269 it is said, Jahara Komala Shraddha Se Kanishta Jana Krame Krame Tenhu Bhaktahaibe Uttama. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte. See this person who was arguing with us. His faith was soft and pliable towards Bhaktisiddhanta, so he was called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of first-class devotee. So if he stayed in the reading session, reading the book, he would rise. But now he left, and now he's poisoned. What to do? Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage, but if one properly finishes the prescribed number of rounds of Harinam, he's elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttamadhikari. The Krishna consciousness movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on beads. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 names, he is considered fallen, patita. According to his calculation, practically every one of us is fallen. But because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord without seriousness and without duplicity, we can accept the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavan, the deliverer of the fallen. When Srila Satyaraj Khan, a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu kahe Chandra mukhe suni eka bara Krishna nama se puja sreshta sabakara. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Madhya 15:106. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Ataeva Janra Mukhe Eka Krishna Nama Seita Vaishnava Karihatan Hara Sammana. One who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna or who by practice likes to chant Krishna's name should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respect as such, at least within one's mind. CC Madhya 15:111. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna, and even in his records he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respects to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservation. For we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that everyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries, who are supposed to be great preachers, have gradually fallen into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord. While giving instructions to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into three categories: Shastra Yuktina Hijane Drida Shraddhavan, Madhyamadhikari Se Mahabhagyavan. A person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong but who has developed firm faith in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and who is also undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service should be considered a Madhyamadhikari. Such a person is very fortunate. CC Madhya 2267. A Madhyamadhikari is a Shraddhavan, a staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. Therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 2264, it is said, Shraddhavan Janahaya Bhakti Adhikari Uttama Madhyama Kanishta Shraddha Anushari. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service according to the development of his Shraddha faith. Again in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 2262 it is said, Shraddha Shabde Vishvasa Kahe Shuhrida Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Krittahaya. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith favorable to the discharge of devotional service is called Shraddha. Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith. The words of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men. and whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is, without interpretation. This was the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvameta Tritamanye Yanmam Vadasi Keshava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Bhagavad Gita 10:14. Haribol, who wants to continue? Oh, there is not much left. 2 pages.
Then you can continue, Prabhu. Like after this, I can continue another verse.
This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita, and this is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretations and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality, especially the last instruction, Sarva Dharman Parityagya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 18:66. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis of advancing in spiritual life. When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Sevan mukhe jihvado svayameva spuratyada. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 12234. We cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. Such service begins with this tongue, Sevan mukhe jihvado, which means that we should always chant the holy names of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasad. We should not chant or accept anything else. When this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotee. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna, he understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttamadhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes, Tadati Pratigrihnati. Indeed, the advanced Uttamadhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmachari in particular is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavata without being self-realized, nor by such imitation one will eventually become degraded. For by such imitation one will eventually become degraded. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. The devotee should always know his own position and should not try to imitate the devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttamadhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained this platform of Uttamadhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master. Ribol. Okay, Vivek Prabhu, you can read the text number 6. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Text number 6. दृष्टैः स्वभावजनितैर्वपुषश्च दोषैर्न प्रकृतत्वम् अह भक्तज्ञानस्य पश्यते गङ्गं भाष्यं न कलौ बुद्धपेन पङ्कैर् Brahma Drishdarvatam Apagachati Nira Dharmai. Synonyms: Drishthai, seen by ordinary vision. Swabhava, Jai, Jantahi, born of one's own nature. Vapushaha, of the body. Cha, and Doshai, by the faults. Na, not. Prakritam, the state of being material. Iha, in this world. Bhakta Jnanasya, of a pure devotee. Pashyate, one should see. Ganga Ambasham, of the Ganga's waters. Na, not. Kalau, certainly. Buddha, pale, pena. Pankahi, by bubbles, by bubbles, foam and mud. Brahma Darvatavam, the transcendental nature. Apagachati, he is spoiled. Nira Dharmahe, the characteristics of water. Translation: being situated in his original Krishna consciousness position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a pure devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee as having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee, but despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Gangas, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganga's waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Gangas without considering the condition of the water. Purport. Prabhu, like after I will read, like I started. So after that you can read, Prabhu, Saurav Prabhu.
Yes, bro. Please read, bro. Yes, bro.
Is this is there urgent for you to like you have to leave or like what? Then you can read.
No, bro, I am here, bro. You read. I will read the next verse, bro.
Okay. Suddha Bhakti, the activity of the soul, proper activity of the soul proper. In other words, engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord is performed in a liberated condition. In Bhagavad Gita 4.26, it is stated, Mama chayo vabhyacharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samhite yaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotion service, who does not fall down in any circumstances at once, transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Avyabhicharyani. Bhakti means unalloyed devotion. A person engaged in devotional service must be free from material motives. In this Krishna consciousness moment, one's consciousness must be changed. If consciousness is aimed toward material enjoyment, it is material consciousness, and if it is aimed toward serving Krishna, it is Krishna consciousness. A surrendered soul serves Krishna without material consideration. Anyabilishita Shunya. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11. Jnana Karmadye Anarvitam. Unallowed devotional service, which is transcendental to the activities of the body and mind, such as jnana, mental speculation, and karma, fruitive work, is called pure bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is the proper activity of the soul, and when one actually engages in unallowed, uncontaminated devotional service, he is already liberated. Saguna samtitaitan. Samatitaitan. Bhagavad Gita 14.26. Krishna's devotee is not subjected to material condition, even though his bodily features may appear material condition. One should therefore not see a pure devotee from a materialistic point of view. Unless one is actually a devotee, he cannot see another devotee perfectly. As explained in the previous there are three types of devotees: Kanishta, Adhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. The Kanishta Adhikari cannot distinguish between a devotee and non-devotee. He is simply concerned with worshipping the deity in the temple. A Madhyamadhikari, however, can distinguish between the devotee and non-devotee, as well as between the devotee and the Lord. And thus he treats the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the devotee and the non-devotee, in different ways. No one should criticize the bodily defects of a pure devotee. If there are such defects, they should be overlooked. What should be taken into account in this account is the spiritual master's main business, which is devotional service, pure service to the Supreme Lord, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.30. Apichit sudur Apichit suduracharo bhajate mam anyanya bhag sadur evasa matvaiva samyag vyavastito hi saha. Even if a devotee sometimes seems to engage in abominable activities, he should be considered a sadhu, a saintly person, because his actual identity is that of one engaged in the loving service of the Lord. In other words, he is not to be considered an ordinary human being. Even though a pure devotee may be born in a Brahmana or Goswami family, if he is engaged in service of the Lord, he should not be neglected. In actuality, there cannot be a family of Goswamis based on material consideration, caste, or heredity. The Goswami title is actually the monopoly of the pure devotees. Thus, we speak of the six Goswamis headed by Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami had practically become Mohammedans, and had therefore changed their names to Dabir Kas and Malika. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself made them Goswamis. Therefore, the Goswami title is not hereditary. The word Goswami refers to one who can control his senses, who is master of the senses. A devotee is not controlled by the senses, but he is the controller of the senses. Consequently, he should be called Goswami or Goswami, even though he may not be born in a uh, born in a Goswami family. According to this formula, the Goswamis, who are descendants of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Prabhu, are certainly devotees, but devotees coming from other families should not be discriminated against. Indeed, whether the devotee come from a family of previous acharyas or from an ordinary family, they should be treated equally. One should not think, oh, here is an American Goswami, and discriminate against him. Nor should one think, here is an Nityananda Vamsha Goswami. There is an undercurrent of protest against our awarding the title Goswami to the American Vaishnavas of the Krishna consciousness movement. Sometimes people falsely tell the American devotees that their sannyasa or title of Goswami is not bona fide. However, according to the statements of Srila Rupa Goswami in this verse, an American Goswami and a Goswami in a family of acharyas are non-different. One, on the other hand, a devotee who has attained the title of Goswami but is not born of a Brahmana father or of a Goswami in the family of Nityananda or the Advaita Prabhu should not be artificially puffed up by thinking that he has become a Goswami. He should always remember that as soon as he becomes materially puffed up, he immediately falls down. This Krishna consciousness moment is a transcendental science, and there is no room for jealousies. jealous. Jealousy. This moment is meant for the Paramahamsas who are completely free from all jealousy. Paramam Nirmatsaranam. One should not be jealous. Whether he is born in a family of Goswami or has the title of Goswami awarded to him, as soon as anyone becomes envious, he falls from the platform of Paramahamsa. If we consider the bodily defects of a Vaishnava, we should understand that we are committing an offense at the lotus feet of the Vaishnava, and and Vaishnava at the lotus feet of an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava is very serious. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described these offense as hati mata, the mad elephant offenses. A mad elephant can create a disaster, especially when it enters into a nicely trimmed garden. One should therefore be very careful not to commit any offense against a Vaishnava. Every devotee should be ready to take instructions from a superior Vaishnava, and a superior Vaishnava must be ready to help an inferior Vaishnava in all respects. One is superior or inferior according to his spiritual development in Krishna consciousness. One is forbidden to observe the activities of a pure Vaishnava from a material point of view. For the neophyte, especially considering a pure devotee from a material point of view, is very injurious. One should therefore avoid observing a pure devotee externally, but should try to see the internal features and understand how he is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In this way, one one can avoid seeing the pure devotee from a material point of view. And those one gradually becomes a purified devotee himself. Those who think that Krishna consciousness is limited to a certain section of people, a certain section of devotees, or a certain tract of land are generally prone to see the external features of the devotee. Such neophytes, unable to appreciate the exalted service of the advanced devotee, try to bring the Mahabhagavata to their platform. We experience such difficulty in propagating this Krishna consciousness all over the world. Unfortunately, we are surrounded by neophyte God brothers who do not appreciate the extraordinary activities of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. They simply try to bring us to their platform, and they try to criticize us in every respect. We very much regret their naive activities and poor fund of knowledge. An empowered person who is actually engaged in confidential service of the Lord should not be treated as an ordinary human being, for it is stated that unless one is empowered by Krishna, one cannot spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. When one those criticizes a pure devotee, he commits an offense, Vaishnava aparadha, that is very obstructive and dangerous for those who desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. A person cannot derive any spiritual benefit when he offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Everyone should therefore be very careful not to be jealous of one empowered Vaishnava or a Shuddha Vaishnava. It is also an offense to consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action. It is offensive to try to give him advice or to take him. One cannot distinguish between a neophyte Vaishnava and an advanced Vaishnava by their activities. The advanced Vaishnava is always situated as the spiritual.
This is perfect answer to that person who was arguing here in the beginning.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, bro. It's really nice.
Master. And the A neophyte is always considered his disciple. The spiritual master must not be subjected to advice of a disciple, nor should a spiritual master be obliged to take instructions from those who are not his disciples. This is the sum and substance of Srila Rupa Goswami's advice in the sixth verse.
Wow, very well.
We go.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Saurabh, Prabhu, you can read next one. Oh, Haribol, it's not too long. Very nice. It's like 5 pages.
Yes. Yat Krishna Nama Chaitadi Vidyapi Avidya Pito Pito Patva Rasanasya Naro Rasikanu Inti Adran Anu Dinam Anu Saiva Justa Jadi Kramat Bhavati Tat Galamulo Hantri. No, Self is Krishna or Lord Krishna. Name, the holy name. Charita, the character. Pastimes and so forth. Pita, sugar, candy. Api, although. Avidya, of ignorance. Pitta, by the bile. Upatta, afflicted. Rasanasya, of the tongue. Na, not. Rachika, palatable. No, oh. How wonderful it is. Into, but. Adrat, carefully. Onudinam, every day or 24 hours daily. Khalu, naturally. Sa, that. Sugar candy of the holy name. Ever, certainly. Just, justa, taken or chanted. Sadi, releasable. Pramad, gradually. Bhavati, becomes. Tadgada, of that digit. Mula, of the root. Antri, the destroyer. Translation. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet. It is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, the natural release awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. This one. Purport by his divine grace of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The holy name of Lord Krishna, his quality, pastimes, and so forth are all of the nature of absolute truth, beauty, and bliss. Naturally, they are very sweet, like sugar candy, which appeals to everyone. Nescience, however, is compared to the disease called jaundice, which is caused by bilious secretions. Attacked by jaundice, the tongue of a diseased person cannot palatably release sugar candy. Rather, a person with jaundice considers something sweet to taste very bitter. With the ignorance, similarly perverts the ability to release the transcendently palatable name, quality, form, and pastime of Krishna. Despite this disease, if one with great care and attention takes to Krishna consciousness, chanting the holy name and hearing Krishna's transcendental pastimes, his ignorance will be destroyed and his tongue enabled to taste the sweetness of the transcendental nature of Krishna and his paraphernalia. Such a recovery of spiritual health is possible only by the regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Swami Prabhu, can you continue for
Yes,
some
Prabhu.
minutes? Someone is calling me. I am coming here.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Panjal Prabhu, want to continue?
Vivek, Prabhu, you want to read?
Prabhu, I can read also. Okay, Prabhu, sorry for interrupting. Very nice service. Website. Okay, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu, then I will read. When a man in the material world takes more interest in the materialistic way of life than in Krishna consciousness, he is considered to be in a diseased condition. The normal condition is to remain an eternal servant of the Lord. Jivair Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nityadas. CC Madhya 20.108. 20 chapters, 108 verse. Okay, this healthy condition is lost when the living entity forgets Krishna due to being attracted by the external features of Krishna's Maya energy. This world of Maya is called Durashraya, which means walls or mat shelter. One who puts his faith in Durashraya becomes a candidate for hoping against hope. In the material world, everyone is trying to become happy, and although their material attempts are buffered in every way, due to their nescience, they cannot understand their mistakes. People try to rectify one mistake by making another mistake. This is the way of the struggle of our existence in the material world. If one in this condition is advised to take to Krishna consciousness and be happy, he does not accept such instructions. Dora Prabhu can continue. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you, Vivek. This Krishna consciousness movement is being spread all over the world just to remedy this gross ignorance. People in general are misled by blind leaders. And the leaders of human society, the politicians, philosophers, and scientists are blind because they are not Krishna conscious. According to Bhagavad Gita, because they are bereft of all factual knowledge due to their atheistic way of life, they are actually sinful rascals and are the lowest among men. Namam duskritino mudha prapadante aradhamaha. Yes, Prabhu. Maya aporhita jnana asuram bhavam asrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 7:1-5. Such people never surrender to Krishna and they oppose the endeavor of those who wish to take Krishna's shelter. When such atheists become leaders of society, the entire atmosphere is surcharged with dissent. Yes, Prabhu, now this war is going on, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
In such a condition, people do not become very enthusiastic to receive this Krishna conscious movement, just as a diseased person suffering from jaundice does not release the taste of sugar candy. However, one must know that for jaundice, sugar candy is the only specific medicine. Similarly, in the present confused state of humanity, Krishna consciousness, the chanting of holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare is the only remedy for setting the world aright. Although Krishna consciousness may not be very palatable for a diseased person, Srila Rupa Goswami nonetheless advised that if one wants to be cured of the material disease, he must take to it with great care and attention. One begins his treatment by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because by chanting this holy name of the Lord, a person in the material condition will be relieved from all misconception. Cheto Dorpana Marjanam, CC Anto 2012. Avidya, a misconception about one's spiritual identity, provide the foundation for ahankara, or false ego within the heart. The real disease is in the heart. If the mind is cleansed, however, if consciousness is cleansed, a person cannot be harmed by the material disease. To cleanse the mind and heart from all misconception, one should take to this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is the both easy and beneficial. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is immediately freed from the blazing fire of material existence. There are three stages in chanting the holy name of the Lord. The offensive stage, the stage of lessening offenses, and the pure stage. When a neophyte takes to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, he generally commits many offenses. There are 10 basic offenses, and if the devotee avoids these, uh, uh, if the devotee avoids these, uh, he can glimpse the next stage, which is situated between offensive chanting and pure chanting. When one attains the pure stage, he is immediately liberated. So, Prabhu, like offensive chanting and pure chanting, something in between also exists or what?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu. When one attains the pure stage, he is immediately liberated. This is called Bhavo Mahadavagni Nirvapana. As soon as one is liberated from the blazing fire of material existence, he can release the taste of transcendental life. The conclusion is that in order to get freed from the material disease, one must take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. The Krishna consciousness movement is specially meant for creating an atmosphere in which people can take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. One must begin with faith, and when this faith is increased by chanting, a person can become a member of the society. We are sending Sankirtan parties all over the world, and they are experiencing that even in the remotest part of the world, where there is no knowledge of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra attracts thousands of men to our camp. In some areas, people begin to imitate the devotees by shaving their heads and chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Only a few days after hearing the mantra, this may be imitative, but imitation of a good thing is desired. Some imitators gradually become interested in being initiated by the spiritual master and offer themselves for initiation. If one is sincere, he is initiated, and this stage is called bhajana kriya. One then actually engages in the service of the Lord by regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 16 rounds daily and refraining from illicit sex, intoxicants, meat eating, and gambling. By bhajana kriya, one attains freedom from the contamination of materialistic life. He no longer goes to a restaurant or hotel to taste so-called palatable dishes made with meat and onions. Nor does he care to smoke or drink tea or coffee. He not only refrains from illicit sex but avoids sex life entirely. Nor is he interested in wasting his time in speculating or gambling. In this way, it is to be understood that one is becoming cleansed of unwanted things, anartha nivritti. The word anartha means to unwanted things. Anarthas are vanquished when one becomes attached to the Krishna consciousness movement. When a person is relieved from unwanted things, he becomes fixed in executing his Krishna activities. Indeed, he becomes attached to such activities and experiences ecstasy in executing devotional service. This is called bhavo, the preliminary awakening of dormant love of Godhead. Thus, the conditioned soul becomes free from the material existence and loses interest in the bodily conception of life, including material opulence, material knowledge, and material attraction of all variety. At such a time, one can understand who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is and what his Maya is. Although Maya may be present, it cannot disturb a devotee once he attains the bhava stage. This is because the devotee can see the real position of Maya. Maya means forgetfulness of Krishna. Forgetfulness of Krishna and Krishna consciousness stands side by side like light and shadow. If one remains in shadow, he cannot enjoy the facilities offered by the light. And if one remains in light, he cannot be disturbed by the darkness or shadow. By taking to Krishna consciousness, one gradually becomes liberated and yes, remains in light. Indeed, he does not even touch the darkness, as confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22, 22:3:1. কৃষ্ণ সূর্য সম মায়া হয় অন্ধকার যাহার কৃষ্ণ তাহা নাহি মায়ার অধিকার. Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion and the influence of the external energy will immediately vanish. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro, for letting me.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much. Very nice.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, now Sixastakam prayers. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagninirvapanam Shreyah Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निजशर्वशक्तिर्स्तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन काला एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन्ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशं वैजनेनानुग्रह
Srinadapi Sunichena Tararupi Sahisnuna Amanina Bhandena Kirtaniya Sadahari.
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितं वा जगदीशकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
नन्दतनुजकिङ्करं पतितं मां विषवें भवां बुध कृपया तव पादपङ्कजा स्थितधूलिशदशं विचिन्तय
नयनम गरुदश्रुधराया वदनम गद्गदरुद्धया गिरा पुलकिर्निचितं बापु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति.
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविर्षायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे
श्रीशवापादरतं विनष्टु मामदरशनान्माहतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातुलं पटो मत्प्राणास्तु सेवनापरः
Haribol. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings and those who have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even fast and hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree and devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want a number of followers. I only want your costless devotional service birth after birth.
O son of Maharajananda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. It's a moreover I fall into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my
Oh
Lord,
my, yes, Prabhu, no, sorry, Prabhu.
when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribo.
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 Jai.
Ten offenses to the holy name. First offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy names of the Lord.
Second offense, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
Third offense, to disobey the orders of spiritual master and considering as an ordinary person.
Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic scripture or scripture impersions to the Vedic version.
Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Sixth offense, to give mundane interpretations to the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as of the auspicious ritualistic which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activity. Karma Kanda.
Ninth offense, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
10th offense, to not have a complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments. Then, after understanding so many instructions on this matter, it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses and to quickly achieve the desired success. Very well.
Let us offer humble obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the
The
Lord.
devotees of the Lord who are just like that trees and
Compassion
all
for the
desire
Father,
full
so
of compassion for the following reasons. Vancha
Answer
kalpataru
Yascha Kripasyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanam Namo Namaha. Nanda Gaudiya Vaishnava ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai.
Thank you so much,
Lord
Prabhu.
Nrsimhadev
Thank
appeared.
you. Thank you, Sai
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
we can do tomorrow reading of pastimes of Narsimhadev.
Yes, Prabhu.
Tomorrow is not
Yes,
there.
Prabhu.
What time you can mention hello so we can join that time.
Yes, Prabhu. Around same time, maybe that usually we do.
Okay, if you're free, you can
Yes,
read,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
I'll send in the message.
Okay, bro. Hare Krishna.
So much for association.